Thank you. Honorable Jamie Henyo is present. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr.
President Shinada.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. is present. Thank you, Shanella. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair. Honorable Elmer P. Begay. Honorable Elmer P. Begay. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty.
Yes, Ishada, this is Delegate Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty. I'm on the call. Good morning.
Thank you. Shadeja. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Bott Crotty is present. Honorable Nathaniel Brown.
Yeah, too. Delegate Brown is present.
Thank you, Shache. Honorable Nathaniel Brown is present. Chairman, we have 4 members answering upon roll call and 2 members not answering roll call. Chairman?
No.
Thank you for the roll call. We do have a quorum, 4 members present. Call this meeting to order. It is 10:06 a.m. on September 20th, 2022, Budget and Finance Committee regular meeting. Then with this, I will move forward to invocations. Delegate Nathaniel Brown. Citizen
Oh, yeah. I'm almost to that chapter. Let me pull over here.
First, we get the first.
Budget and Finance Committee members. Ano thota isa no angi yate happen kudashi hashin toshi nada hanita ado kudoba henitin kudo shitra shidin shamano sa dini ado sanashke esa yoshke esa dini ado kudo shitra yadeshke Kudon Jobana di Nidole, Ado Kudo, Nuhoka digin the Nanny, Clinic a Peggy a non nation Kahantastia, and kid the Ne, Nahata is Nel a put off non nation Kahandes La Shatra Shadian, Aduk Adea did base pass on the base of the Kate, Tinja Aja Craigie, and non naked Ado Kudo a Hajo. Na nationada di least jodi peso hashinela bahwint behez ani hashinela deilnish hashinela dipenda nishle and they could hot arke on national tostanete to shatash the ne could behez and the behin de nishi ado could tu lini ado shama Ecuador Hugo Bananas Ahuichin Asahid Eg Abenachidit Anajono Hodgishinla Ado Nahapada Hosliando Betrayahod Eto Baran has Ani Big Ape Unkabestano Ado Askun Besinde Nishi Kwajonle Nahayatke Lad Satani Ajan Dasmish Ado Radit Ahi Ajan Nahal Ado di the Kodonal Sos Nahades any Aja Nahabik Edadno, Ado di Peshmans an Aja de Nish, Aja Nahachin, he Ajanka away and Nahade Nish, Ado Hashinela, Le Hashkajan Nahat Ashama, Ajan Kabik Eden, Adon Le a large Meshira Zini, Ado Becount, the Satani do Be Naha Ben Tike, Nahabe the Deal Chesquagi, a large Satando Count Satani. Ben Tike the habit the deal Chestobi Zini. Did get the ne Joyan Tike so did I could a Banti Kate Ani so did could a Hajona that the Hajo could a dinal so non nation does the Shatrashidi and Naked on the Han Sole a day nothing could a distinct don't not managing Kakana doctor. Ado Kodo Tabaka Taba Aden Lini Kodon Dal Don Lini by Kate Nitzen. Kodon Kamano Sa Nada Kle Do Kodoch El Hanadocha Adon Hinal Loshi that a could each other I don't hear not on but on the side and then could about hear me in Chitrash again. Ado could done hidden there. Hashing saw bit in the has hashing saw her job at things and Ado did and Daphne learning it adult Ado could Hajodo less Winston. Ado could could citizen Craigie Behananke Doslado, Nikazad had a dean or less at Hashadigan. Nahone Nahone Kishnada de Yen dollars. Nahid the teen Betonada deals in dollars. The Yanya that Kodo Ado Chenasto Eda the deal yes, it had a dean hard at the doping. Nihinata, Nihina using it Ashianda Hatotless. Nachalchen ada belchene kaho keda da dilge nehiso ke nehinaleke ada belchene kaho kodo as the bonda hadil archet khashdigen kodo nga twin gezanin da hasani benetni in lidole asahe da jet eshet khashdigen kodo na khant ezen daji nikla bonda hadil archet khashdigen kodo peso nan tehen lini bejobik idit khila bohdil atok abtsodzen be khayzi dole eshet khashdigen the Kodo American Rescue Plan dollars, but the no Kade Physical Recovery Fund for Yabijet Bailia, AD, George Hodili, Nishiat not the Liat Ehopin Day Nistole. Niado Kodo, Class Hugo at large and Nahas Honey Division Directors and Lenny Benel in Lindo Lechet Hashadin. Ado Kade Nadai Nisha Hol Jesus Lenny, Nikid the Nashi, Nin Dunkit Kito. Hajodi the Hajob Kitty Pink, Ashi Hijok Ehwinson Bay, Benane Katola Shashadigan, Ado Kodo Assistant Jinizil Ata, and get Hajodo, Ada Kitty, clean or less, Ado Shada Ata, Todd the Steel, Ada and get Hajodo, let all Kitty, clean or less, Ado Ata a Yatok or Sleep Seal, Ada and get Hajodo, let all Kitty, clean or less, Ado Naho Costa Shashadigan. A Ben Sadville, Father and get a jodo let or make it seal, seatly, Ado Shamano Saya Isli, Adon his Jejona A. The other has a digini, Ad A. Kunk is not the Hanotlo, Kunk and Nagong Hanata Hosia Tragedy. Today, Hazona Hasli, Hazona Hasli, Hazona Hasli, Hazona Hasli. Thank you. It's a privilege and honor to pray.
Okay, la. Sunanda. John Khatidin Znidi Benibi, Hela. Even a check, Kodoi. Not so can it not a deep Benibi Budget Finance Committee meeting. The next on our agenda is introduction of guests and visiting officials. Kodoi and the Budget Finance Committee. Kodoi Konitlo. Kodosat. That is Lashing that loving that so even a check kodo. I'm treated to have these insurance Budget Finance Committee. Shanada Vice Chair Smith, Nina Doshish.
Okay, now Chair Henyo, I know Budget Finance Committee members and Nothnigi, I don't hate an Nothnigi, class need that's not Sagi at Apen. I don't hope Honorable Brown, citizen behind the Hela, Behela. Hey, Raymond Smith Jr., that's Janito, Bush Gizo, that's Vice Chair of Budget and Finance Committee called the Nation Gate, Besser Zendok, the Chini Bashin Honan, the Chedona, Kaidas, and the Kela.
She here now, Vice Chair Smith. I don't know, so not that. They'll get Jimmy Hill here. I'm not so that. They'll get Amber Knesba Karate.
Oh, yeah, chair, committee members. Chiaj, Delegate Brown, for your prayer. Though all of the prayers have been placed this morning. So Kia Ani Nishle do Bilagana Viking people versus Shin Destiny Deshe do Bilagana Irish people de Shanale Shay Amber Canis Bakrati Yanisha Tohatsoy Den Shah. On the Budget and Finance, I represent Sheep Springs, I represent Northern Agency on the council, representing Sheep Springs, Two Gray Hills, Tolina, Sanofsky, Red Valley, Cove, Gadiahi, and Beklabato. But all of us represent all of our people, whether they're here at home, in the urban areas, or serving in our military. And so our hope is those thoughts, those prayers, that healing energy goes out to all of you today. And as we have this discussion, that our leadership continue to have compassion for our people, as we've learned, how monkeypox is spreading, and have to plan and working with the president's office on how we're going to address this to make sure our people and our children are safe. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you, National, for your introduction, the Benivia. Other Nassau, Delegate Nathaniel Brown. Additional Delegate Elmer P. Gay. Kushina, we'll move forward to Nassau Nahal just based on Hassan I did see select Delegate Wilson C. Stewart Jr. Are you on the line, select?
Oh, good morning, Sinai. Okay, stage Wilson C. Stewart Jr. Inch. What's on the inch? Don't know. It's catching, but it's catching. That's a chair. W between the Chanel. I could tell that in here question and you wait. The resource development committee. A today. Special meeting. Pande Kaiko. Saw though he had this morning though being budget and finance committee members Shamayajado, Shatlan Ashketo, Shajayajo Shamay Keta, she had those staff and Liga, Shamayajaketo Yat Ehnan Dohin, one Hulgito on the Arkansas.
Kushikela, Slodo, 2000. I thought last face was another is 24th Navajo Council.
That's it, Ben. Delegate Halona.
Good morning, Shnanda. Delegate Halona at the Nahal introduction.
Right. Oh, yeah, on BNF committee members, yet in Shaya Perna Halon, yeah. Although Twitch is I say, Bush's chain, none stays there's a chain, there's no 8,000 inch, although standing by waiting for our legislation to come up. I got my amendments done, so when it comes up, I'll be there. I'll be ready. Thank you, sir. Chair.
Kushikela, Shnanda, Delegate Pernell Alona. Other baseball Shanda is 24th Navajo Council.
Yeah, oh, leader.
Oh, Shana, other Nahal
Citizen leader Eugene, so it is not. The nature can English, it's not a massamy, I dash Shamaha. Yea, it in the Eki, it's not. They say you know, ye, that's it, and other initiative. I don't, she's 8 with a cheat in lately says, down, other where the highway ends between Cottonwood and Steamboat. I don't, she and in region later or the whole area that's developing. The other is Ada twitson edashin na do she members on the Sydney do con so do ni ashi ba shi le on ben he jade up and see do ashi ya she had ni on I go on it. Thank you.
Augustine,
Hi, you doing okay?
oh, I'm doing okay. Augustine, let's move forward to baseball. Sanisha Nice, 24th Navajo Nation Council.
Is Delegate McGay? Calling in.
Ashnanda, I'm going to introduction analogies.
Augustinta, yeah, to the members of the Budget Finance Committee. Aro dan secretary net that is not either, and then the staff that are there with us. Yeah, aro shady Shadachi ko Elmer PBK Shishi ko. I don't understand that is top on slow Torjin versus Chi. Not in the Chi class Chi additional. The Robana Shaggy yard on that team do other torch in the door too hardly. I don't know back about okay the door the wish be trop. Yeah, look, yeah, it's a
Kushina, you guys shouldn't introduction in lag. Ado, Anna, Tanoya, let's move to our staff though. Miss Peggy Nakai.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the Budget and Finance Committee. Shay Peggy Nakai and Chia, Legislative Advisor in the Budget and Finance Committee, Do State Task Force, Makanashwa. The Bethlehem and Shlo had soy bus chain 28 Nidashin Che Do Kachi Nidashin Nala. Thank you.
Kushin, thank you, Peggy. Other Ramona?
Yes, Chairman Hinyo, Shay Ramona Nelson, the Shanido, not at net, touching in Shaw, Hanarani, but Shin, just like Nida Shay, that she never. That is Sanshino Budget and Finance Committee, Ibkan Nashwa. Yeah.
Kushin, thank you, Ramona, for your introduction. Ado, let's move forward to our recognizing the office of the president and vice president. The representative from OPVP, Navajo Nation OPVP.
Hello, Yate. This is Tamara Johnson, Executive Staff Assistant with the Office of the President and Vice President.
Good morning, Ms. Johnson. Thank you for being on the call. Ado, anybody else from the Office of the President and Vice President besides Ms. Johnson? Danita, let's move forward to the Navajo Nation Judicial Branch. Office of Madam Chief Justice Joanne Jane. Is there a representative on the line today?
Good morning, Chair and honorable members of the Budget and Finance Committee. This is Karen Francis, Office of the Chief Justice.
Good morning, Ms. Francis. Thank you for being on the call. And I'll move forward to Office of Speaker Seth Damon, Navajo Nation Legislative Branch. Representative.
Good morning, Yate Bennett, Chair Henio, and committee members. This is Donovan from the Office of Speaker.
Good morning, Donovan. Thank you for being on the call with us. And then moving forward to the Office of Legislative Counsel.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members. This is Lorraine with Office of Legislative Counsel.
Good morning, Lorraine Tapahi. Thank you for being on the call with us. Then let's move forward to the Office of Navajo Nation Department of Justice. Representative. Let's move forward to Navajo Nation chapters. chapter government representatives, our chapter officials.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Yacht Ashley Dora Smith from Upper Fruitland chapter. I am the secretary treasurer. But I'm in Shankas at Chin and Buses Chin. That's another a copa. That's a check here. Ani. Thank you for the prayer. And I'm just going to be waiting for our legislation.
Kushinkia Lanchananda from Upper Fruitland chapter. Thank you for being on the call. For anybody else from Navajo Nation chapter governments. Tonight, let's move forward to Office of the Controller, Navajo Nation Office of the Controller. Is there a representative?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. This is Robert Willie, Accounting Manager for Office of the Controller.
Good morning, Mr. Willie. Thank you for being on the call with us. What about Navajo Nation Office of Management and Budget?
Hello, this is Dominic Bial.
Good morning, Mr. Bial. Thank you for being on the call. With this, let's move forward to Navajo Nation programs and offices. Are there any representatives from our programs and offices within our divisions?
Good morning, Mr. Hino. This is Lisa Jim with the Fiscal Recovery Office. Yeah.
Good morning, Ms. Jim. Good to hear you. Long time. Okay, let's move forward to our agenda. Peggy, if you would read the agenda to the record for us, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Members of the Budget and Finance Committee. Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair is asking to be excused today. He has a meeting at his chapter with the FRF office. The Pinyon chapter is where his meeting's going to be. Okay, this is the proposed agenda of the Budget and Finance Committee of the Navajo Nation Council, September 20, 2022 regular meeting. Via teleconference, presiding as Jamie Hinio, chairperson, Raymond Smith Jr., vice chairperson. It's via telecommunications. We have a meeting at his. Window Rock, Navajo Nation 1, call the meeting to order. The roll call, the invocation. 2, recognize guests and visiting officials. 3, review and adopt the agenda. 4, review and adopt the journal. There are journals for August 23rd, 2022, August 29, 2022. 5, receive reports. A, Natani Development Corporation, presented by Robert Joe, interim president, with Manuel Begay, board chairman, Natani Development Corporation. B, update on the ARPA Hardship Assistance Program, presented by Emerson Horace, accounting supervisor, Office of the Controller. 3, FRF update, presented by Lisa Jim, Fiscal Recovery Office. D, update on the FY 2023 budget, presented by Dominic Bial, Director, Office of Management and Budget. 6, old business, none. 7, new business. A, legislation number 0103-22. Legislation number 0109-22. C, legislation number 113-22. D, requesting attendance to a leadership meeting with Resources and Development on CRE, October 10 through the 14, 2022. Travel days are October 9 and returning October 15. E, rescheduling regular meeting of October 18, 2022 because of Navajo Nation Council 2022 fall session. 8, close of the session, written announcements, adjournment. The next regular meeting is October 4th, 2022.
Thank you for the reading. Is there a motion to accept the agenda as read?
A motion, Delegate Crotty.
Okay, motion by Shannon, Delegate Member Knox-Bach Crowdy. Is there a second? Is there a second to the motion?
This is Delegate Brown. I'll second.
Okay, Shannon, Delegate Nathaniel Brown, second. So there is a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion on the agenda as read?
Excuse me, Chair. There's a lot of background noise.
That's
With
Is there a way that you can mute the
and
background noise?
I'm on a chapter meeting and I'm trying to put my phone down as underneath the table or somewhere, but still making a lot of noise. So I can't help it. I have to give my report in a little bit here. Is there any discussion on the agenda as well?
Yes, this is Delegate Crotty with the question.
Shannon, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. I just need clarification regarding the leadership meeting. What is CRE? Thank you.
Okay, Shane, thank you for your question, though. Peggy, CRE?
CRE is Colorado Ranch Enterprise.
Gashina, yeah, no, thank you for that clarification. So CRE is Colorado Ranch Enterprise over at Wolf Springs Ranch in Colorado. Any questions, comments on the agenda?
Chairman Henyo, this is Delegate Crotty with the questions.
Gashina, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So I don't mind expressing that my opinion is the committee and the council is spending a lot of energy on the Colorado Ranch Enterprise, but we have Navajo ranchers who are suffering. I'm not sure how this committee feels about it, but as a delegate in District 12 and talking with our grazing officials, our farm board, and the permittees, this drought is just exacerbating ranching on Navajo Nation. What could we add to this agenda or this leadership meeting to make sure we are including the Navajo ranchers who are trying to ranch and make a living here on Navajo Nation? I'm not exactly clear what the plan is for the Colorado Ranch. I've never been there in person. I'm sure it's beautiful, but our lands here are beautiful and we need to take care of them. What can we do as a committee to move forward on how we're going to support our Navajo ranchers here on Navajo Nation? It is my question, Chair. If you've been able to talk to Chairman Nez about this request or the RDC, they're suffering. There's a lot of issues in how our ranchers need our support when it comes to water, when it comes to feed, when it comes to probate, when it comes to transportation, when it comes to overgrazing, when it comes to water management, land management. They need the help of this council. What could we do as a committee to have that conversation with RDC and be all on the same page? Thank you, Chair.
Gashina, for your questions, and I believe what we'll do is we'll hold that question until we get to that part of the agenda. After we accept the agenda, and when we get to the new business item at that point, we can have an open discussion regarding your questions, concerns you have regarding our Navajo ranchers versus the Colorado ranches, and we'll provide more detailed explanation at that point, Shananda. So right now, are there any further questions, comments on the agenda itself?
Chairman Henyo, this is Delegate Crotty.
Gashina, you have the floor.
Yes, Chair, I'd like to make a motion to modify the leadership meeting discussion on our agenda. So that would be, pulling up on our agenda. So that would be new business B. If I could amend leadership meeting with resource and development. Oh, it looks like at the Colorado branch. If we could put regarding regarding supporting Navajo Nation ranchers, and if this could be a virtual meeting, so that I have a conflict in my schedule, as we have a housing justice conference that week. If I could make that motion, Chair, I'll say that one more time. So a motion to new business, letter D, requesting attendance and virtual meetings to a leadership meeting with Resource and Development Committee at the Colorado Ranch Enterprise regarding solutions for our Navajo Nation ranchers. That could be my motion, and it would include the date and the travel days, Chair. Thank you.
Before I recognize your motion, what we can do here, make it a little easier, is when we get to the item on the agenda, during the motion and second, you could also add on what you want to do with the virtual attendance as part of the motion to accept the attendance, and that we can, could be part of the main motion to request attendance. Would that work for you, Shananda, at that time when we get to that point of the agenda? And you can even request a letter to be written to Chairman Nez regarding the concern you have with the Navajo Nation ranchers. We could also do that too at that time. Well, would that work for you, Shananda?
Chairman Henio, thank you for that suggestion. I think at this time, we could go that route if we don't receive a second on this motion to the agenda. But at this point, this is the only way I could support the agenda. I couldn't support just a leadership meeting at Colorado Ranch. So I'm just trying to make a lemonade here, Chairman. But I'll defer to you, but I did make that motion. It'll be up to the committee if they want a second, and we can move forward. Thank you.
So with that, there is I recognize a motion to modify the agenda item 7D, requesting attendance to the leadership meeting with the RD Resource Development Committee at CRE October 10th to the 14th, 2022, and requesting in there would be attendance in person or virtual leadership meeting with the Resources and Development Committee. Peggy, did you get that? No, Peggy?
Yes. Chair, did you have a question for me?
Did you get the motion?
Yes, the modification to 7D. I got that.
Thank you. So that there is a motion on the floor to modify the agenda, item 7D. Is there a second?
Second, Delegate Begay.
Amendment number 1. There's a motion and second. With that, on amendment number 1, is there any questions, comments on amendment number 1?
Chair Henio, Vice Chair Smith.
Vice Chair Smith, you have the floor.
Okay, on the amendment, it's limited with computer services out there. How are we going to do the teleconference unless we get to a location that has internet services? Been up there, and yes, it is beautiful. However, it's limited. You have to stand at a certain angle. That's why I have that question on that. If this does pass.
Vice Chair Smith, this is a request for virtual, so I believe that given the this point in time, it is September 28th, and it is 4 weeks away, and I'm sure the infrastructure hopefully has been upgraded for that area. But this is a request from BNF committee as far as the leadership meeting is to have make arrangements for virtual also. Vice Chair Smith. Any further questions, comments on amendment number 1? Ramona, roll call vote for amendment number 1.
Yes, Chairman Henry, roll call vote on amendment number 1. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, how do you vote?
Ramona, Jimmy Yellowhair is excused.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair is excused. Honorable Amber Kines-Balkradi, how do you vote?
Shade, this is Delegate Claudia, vote green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Amber Kines-Balkradi votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Almer P. Begay, how do you vote? Honorable Almer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Almer P. Begay votes green. Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing. Chairman not voting. Chairman?
Thank you for the roll call vote. 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Chair not voting. We have accepted amendment number 1. We are back on the main motion. Are there any questions, comments on the main motion? We'll move forward to a roll call vote to accept the agenda as read with 1 amendment. Ramona?
Yes, Chairman Henyo, roll call vote on accepting the agenda. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Amber Kines-Balkradi, how do you vote?
Shade, this is Delegate Claudia, vote green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Amber Kines-Balkradi votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Almer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Almer P. Begay votes green. Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing. Chairman not voting, and 1 member excused. Chairman?
We have a roll call vote of 4 in favor, 0 opposed. Chair not voting. We have accepted our agenda before us. So with this, let's move forward to the next item, review and adopt journals, August 23rd, 2022, and August 29th, 2022. Budget and Finance Committee, is there a motion to accept the journals?
Motion, Delegate Claudia.
Okay, motion by Delegate Amber Kines-Balkradi. Is there a second?
Delegate Brown will second.
Motion Delegate Nathaniel Brown second. So we do have a motion and a second on the floor. And the journals were emailed out previously. So therefore, is there any discussion on the journals? Roll call vote. Ramona, to accept the journals.
Yes, Chairman Henyo, roll call vote on accepting the journals. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Amber Kines-Balkradi, how do you vote?
Shade, this is Delegate Claudia, vote green. Thank you.
Thank you, Shadeja. Honorable Emmer Kenneth Block Cardy votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote? Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I'll vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote? Chairman, we have 3 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing, chairman not voting, and 1 member excused. Chairman?
Okay, we have 3 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. We've adopted the journals for August 23rd and August 29th. Moving forward to the next item on our agenda. Item 5, receiving reports. A, Natani Development Corporation. Mr. Robert Joe, I did see him on the board here, so Mr. Robert Joe.
Yate Benishnanta Shakia Anin Shlo Twitsoni Bushish Chin Twitchini Dashit Shay Shkatso Dashanala Sabedagri Ade Yasina Sha. And I'm going to provide some background about what we've been doing. I'm not going to name any of the company names because they are public companies we are working with. And anything we say financially about these companies could influence their price and performance of those companies, especially their valuations. So we want to keep that private. We can share the company names, but it would have to be an executive session. So since 2019, we started working on setting up the Indian Managed Care Entity. And the state of New Mexico, the governor's office, and the Secretary for Health and Human Services have shared with us publicly that our very first year in operating this Indian Managed Care Entity, the company could receive up around $468 million in the very first year. But the governor wanted the president's approval to proceed forward, even though it didn't require that. That's what she wanted. And we've been working against that. And the president, Nez, has been opposed to it since day one. And it has not moved forward. So it's still there, but the governor has stated publicly that she will move forward with it once if Nez is no longer in the picture. So she's made that clear to us. There's another company we are working with on air emergency transport services. And we're in final negotiations of the operating agreement on that effort. And again, here, we are receiving opposition from the nation, not necessarily the council, but the executive branch. We started working with looking at leasing space at airport sites, and the company we are working with even proposed to fund the infrastructure for getting them compliant, cleaning up some of the runways, and setting them up to where they are usable. But again, we've been running into an opposition, so we have another route that we're going to go through to make this happen. There are the hospitals, the 11 hospitals across Navajo. They've all been supportive and wanting to see this happen, and we have a plan to go work around this opposition to still deliver a service. So we're in final negotiations of that. There's a third one that we are working on, which is opioid treatment clinics. Again, we're working against opposition from the executive branch and setting these up. But we do have another plan to make this happen, and we're moving forward. Our legal team on both sides with this company, they're finalizing the operating agreement to get this stood up. We're not asking for money from the Navajo Nation for any of these efforts. because we already have funders in place that are willing to fund us to get these things started. So that's a brief summary about where we're at and what we're doing and the opposition we've been facing since 2019. But it looks like in the first quarter of 2023, we will start seeing revenue flow for the opioid treatment clinics, and we are moving forward with those. So there is a huge demand for that. And the first one that was stood up by the company we were working with, initially the first year they were estimating 15 to 20 million revenue, but they more than exceeded that with over 50 million revenue. And how much of a need it is to a lot of the communities, we got on board, and the funders really like the plan, and we have the funding lined up to go start these up. So that's where we are at with these. Shnanta.
Does that complete your report, Mr. Robert Joe?
Yes.
Thank you for the report. Budget and Finance Committee, is there a motion to accept the report? Is there a motion to accept the report?
This is Delegate Crotty. Motion. Thank you.
Yeah, motion by Delegate Amber Knowles-Backradi. Is there a second?
Delegate Brown, I will second.
Delegate Nathaniel Brown. So we do have a motion and a second on the floor. Floor is open for questions. Any questions for Mr. Joe?
Delegate Begay.
Delegate Elmer P. Begay.
Okay, to lead Chair Henio, around the members of the Budget and Finance Committee, and around the Army Development Corporation, around Yat Isha the Joe, around Yat Ita for the reporting line, around the report you made and all the efforts that you put into this organization, other than the plans you have, but I believe that questions I would have is I know that actually in 2019 it started I believe that Navajo Nation gave you some funding to start out with it. So I believe that it was given $2 million. If I'm right, I'm not sure if Controller is on the line or Mr. Robert Willie's on the line that to verify that $2 million that was given to Development Corporation. I think I'm not sure if it was been shared with the Budget and Finance Committee or other committee. That's it. What's happened like this? Helio? Chair? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Mr. Joe, response?
Joyashda Identity. Robert Willie, Controller's Office. He has a copy of the audited financials called the Quilaitzi, the Ninigi 2019 or 2018. Yeah, da base of 8 nilo. Call of that 1.3 million the Shanatzi. Call for 1 year 2020 yata when the shutdown pandemic happened, there was really not much going on. Most of it is paid to attorneys for attorney fees and negotiating these agreements. Ado the board fees, ado consultants. Ko doi o yo it's it's over 1.3 million. Itzi.
Is that your complete response, Mr. Joe?
Yes.
Augustina, thank you. Back to you, Budget and Finance Committee. Any further questions, comments?
Chairman Tenyo, this is Delegate Cardi.
Senator, you have the floor for your question.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Since this is an enterprise, is there a Budget and Finance shareholder representative that could provide additional insight to the committee at this time? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joe. Who is the shareholder rep for BNF?
This is a federal section 17, so there's shareholder representatives, but not the one from the council is the speaker and Carl Slater.
Okay, thank you for that. Senator, Budget and Finance Committee, there are only two shareholder reps from council, which is Speaker Damon and Vice Chair Slater. Any further questions, comments? Accept the report.
Just Delegate Begay again, follow-up question.
Motion about Delegate. I'm repeating again. You have the floor. Follow
up. Back to the Chair Henio. I thought you have to get Nana for the response. So based on yards and indicate that it's reporting Dagi. So I'm not sure if this is the one that we got from Mr. Willie, or this is there's a report that was given that was sent by Ms. Nakai this morning. I'm looking at it right now. I finally got to open it. So but at the end of the day, I thought that 2021 that was December 2021. It's not there quite get down financial summary they and at that point again, approximately about $1.2 million and $1.6 million at December 31st, 2021 and 2020 respectively. Because you see the $1,000 you see some Chair Henio, maybe to share the whole financial report. Maybe Mr. Willie might have it. Maybe Mr. Willie can share it with us or send it to us too. That's my request of it, Chair Henio.
Okay, Elmer P. Begay, who was your question directed at? Is it the controller's office or Mr. Joe?
I asked a question before my first question. He said that he sent it to the balance. He sent it to Robert. Willie, no, then I got a report that I just opened it that was sent by Ms. Nakai, and that I was looking through it because it doesn't say much about the whole the amount, the actual amount of the balance or the approximately or So I'm not sure if Mr. Willie has the exact amount that is, and is the balance. So maybe a report was given to him that I don't know when, as Budget and Finance Committee, I'm not sure when it can be shared. With my question.
Operation costs so that we're able to use that truck out there. That's really the only question out there.
Eugenio, somebody.
Not only for us, but all carriers here on Navajo.
Excuse me.
Donovan, can you
Mute.
whoever's on, whoever's interrupting?
Small areas, but we just can't afford to sustain it out there. There is some.
Stewart needs.
Donovan, are you there?
Yeah, this is the.
Yes, sir. I got them.
Thank you. So now, I'm going to TV go ahead.
Yeah, so my question will be directed to Mr. Robert Willie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robert Willie, Controller, Officer Controller.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Delegate Begay, for your question. I'm actually trying to look that up right now. So if you give me a few moments, I can find it. Thank you. Okay, the amount that was paid out in August 23rd of 2018 was $2,500,000. There was also another amount that was paid on August 21st of 2018, and that was for $300,000. So those were the two payments that were done in 2018. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Budget and Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Willie, for the response. I defer back to Budget and Finance Committee. Any further questions, comments?
Please, Delegate Begay again.
Delegate Alderman Begay, you have the floor.
Thank you for that, Mr. Willie, for that report. But as a Budget and Finance Committee, we have a responsibility for the overall judiciary that the Navajo Nation has. So I think with that, I'd like to request if Mr. Willie can share it with a hard copy, showing the complete audit and maybe the complete expenditure report to us, if it's available, maybe the next Budget and Finance Committee. But I just kicked it. Additionally, Chair, Henio.
Thank you for the request. Peggy, if you would send a message to Office of the Controller based on Elmer PBG's request for information from Not Line Development Corporation and the audit. Did you get that, Peggy?
Is that, Chair Henio, is that request for a report or is it just a written report? Verbal report or both, or
requesting for written hard copies. He stated hard copy, so it's a written report.
Thank you.
Back to you, Budget and Finance Committee. Any further questions?
I have another question. One more question.
You have the floor.
It's been for those that Title 17 no yet on with the Navajo Nation. I call it AV on the two representatives from Speaker's office, which is Speaker and then Delegate Slater. So my question is, what part of this organization is the Navajo Nation president is part of this? They said under that Section 17 corporation, no, yeah, the president of the Navajo Nation part of this. It's now school. Yeah, what's can you give me some information on it, Mr. Joe? Thank you.
Oh, he's a part of it, but he's never.
Joe,
he's only-
Mr. Joe, please hold on. I haven't called upon you yet. What's the Budget and Finance Committee is? They still have any further questions? Committee members, any further questions, comments? Then I'll go back to the presenter regarding the request from Delegate Elmer PBG, Mr. Joe. Mr. Robert Joe. Mr. Robert Joe, first call.
Chair Henio, I think his call dropped.
I'm back on.
Okay, you have the floor.
He's part of it, but he's refused to meet with us. There was a shareholder meeting called and he never acknowledged or responded and did not participate in the shareholder reps meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. Back to the committee, Budget and Finance Committee. Any further questions, comments?
The chair, just I'll give again.
Sundar, you have the floor.
Like how my sister asked that question, Delegate Crowdy, regarding the oversight of from the legislative branch, and I'm not sure how the oversight of executive branches, and because we know that this is a three-branch government, and the Navajo Nation President Jonathan Naz is part of it. Wanted to know that what does he mean by part of it? Is it part of the decision making, or what's the responsibility of the Navajo Nation President to this organization? And that's what my question is at this point. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Mr. Joe?
Yes, he's a shareholder representative, and it's spelled out in the charter itself. We can email you the charter that was approved by the council. It explains all his responsibilities as a shareholder rep. It's just like any other shareholder representative. They're supposed to be attending meetings, voting on things that the board brings to the shareholder reps. And he has just not participated in anything with the company.
Thank you for the response to the question. Though back to the committee, Budget and Finance Committee. Any further questions, comments?
I have a follow-up now.
Elmer PBG, you have the floor.
Mr. Joe, thank you for your response. So, if you have if it says that it's spelled out being a responsibility of being a shareholder to this organization, Money Development Corporation. So if shareholders not participating or, like you said, they're refusing to participate or offer its assistance to this, how many meetings do they have to be part of it, or is there any disciplinary or any part of it that goes with it? If you say that it's been spelled out, everything's in there, the response of a shareholder. Ella, can you share it with us? Thank you.
We have Mr. Greg Bigman that's on the call with us. I'm going to have him respond to that. He has a Series 6 license and understands what it means in this case. Greg?
Thank you.
Mr. Bigman, are you there? Mr. Bigman?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, well, thank you, Shana, Chairman Henio, members of BNF, and Delegate Begay for the question. The question is relating to, if I got this correct, is the president's role as a fiduciary for being involved with Netani development, and about what are the violations concerning this fiduciary duty. So this would be a complex matter and something that we would have to talk about with legal counsel. And because this is specific to violations of this fiduciary duty, in addition, this role that the president has where he's acting as a fiduciary, but not necessarily as the president of the Navajo Nation. As a fiduciary, he's charged with fiduciary responsibilities, acting in the best interest of the company. And in this case, it requires him attending meetings, requires him being present and making sure that he's diligent with these financial matters, being up to date with specific duties of the company, and passes his vote also in terms of reviewing the directors of Netani Development and making sure that he does thoroughly look into these matters pertaining to the financial well-being of the company. So as a fiduciary, that's what he's charged with. If he's in breach of these responsibilities, then he's in violation of his fiduciary duty. And this is where council will have to consider taking action concerning, I guess, being a representative of having these fiduciary responsibilities. So I would suggest here in having a discussion with legal counsel concerning that responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bigman, for that response. Defer back to the committee, Budget and Finance Committee. Any further questions, comments?
I'll follow again, Chair Henio.
And I have the floor.
Thank you for that. I kind of raised a lot of questions at this point in time. So, Mr. Bigman, for the response. I'm looking at your what Mr. Joe and yourself sent to Budget and Finance Committee. It says on there that there's 7 distinguished board directors for it's at the Bukako. So I'm looking at it. These are kind of like a board members. See that in there. I'm trying to look for the shareholders. The Bukaido. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not reading too fast to this. area Abaca doesn't say anything about the shareholders and the shareholders, and then it's just only the board members. Yeah, I think there's 7 board members that are there. Oh, yeah. Then I wanted to know that maybe you you provided some legal advice that you shared it with us regarding the responsibility of the shareholders. So, is there somebody that's a legal representative to your organization?
We have the Section 17 expert, Dennis Ekus.
Mr. Joe?
Yes, I just responded. We have our Section 17 legal counsel, Dennis Ekus. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Okay. Kushina, thank you for that response, that brief response. So with that, we'll move back to the Budget and Finance Committee. Any further questions, comments?
Chair Henyo, this is Delegate Cruddy.
You have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So I would like to ask, since the creation of the enterprise, has there been any revenue or net revenue generated? So this, if it's August 2018 and we're in September 2022, what were the revenues for the last 4 years? Thank you.
Kushina, thank you. Thank you for that question. So with that, I'll defer to Mr. Joe.
Thank you for the question. The only revenue that we've had is for interest income. Interest on the funds, and that's the only revenue we've had. As I've shared at the beginning, we've been opposed and blocked to do any business on Navajo by the executive branch, and but the first quarter of this coming year is when we project to finally have revenue.
Thank you, Mr. Joe, for your response. With that, back to the committee, Budget and Finance Committee. Any further questions, comments?
Chairman Henyo, this is Delegate Cruddy.
You have the floor.
Yes, Chairman. So moving forward with the vision or strategic plan of the enterprise, what are other areas of focus to develop revenue or to enter into industry that will produce revenue for the enterprise? Thank you. I yield back the floor.
Thank you. Mr. Joe?
Yes, thank you for the question. What I stated at the beginning, there's 2 areas. One of them is opioid treatment facilities, clinics, mobile units as well. That's one. The other is air emergency transport. That's the second one.
Mr. Joe, for the response. Defer back to Budget and Finance Committee. Any further questions, comments?
Chair, this is Delegate again.
Delegate, I'm repeat again.
For the responses. So maybe I could give just maybe the question directed to Mr. Robert Willie. So what the revenue that was made, I wondered if we could have that with the report for whenever this becomes available to us, the amount and I understand the interest rate of that I'm not sure if he's talking. My dad is talking about the $2 million the interest rate. That was, I think we need to get more clear information on it. Than the exact amount that was being a revenue to the nation, and then how does this revenue is being where does it go? I guess I could say that nation. Does it belong to the organization, or does it go back to Navajo Nation? Because some of these interests that we know the interest rates are being made. For example, the interest rate that the Navajo Nation has, all these fundings that are out there, usually the interest, it goes back to Budget and Finance Committee to allocate, maybe put it back into UUFB, or how does this revenue is being adjusted, or how is it being written? There's a revenue. I just killed all this. Terhenio.
Kashina, thank you, Kudo. And Mr. Robert Willie, are you able to provide that information?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Delegate DeGay, for your questions. As far as the interest income, I do have those numbers, and that's what I was actually going to include in the written report to Budget and Finance. As far as any revenues back to the Navajo Nation, I'm not sure if the County Development Group is going to send dividends back to the nation. I don't recall what their charter exactly said, so I'd have to go through those documents. But if Mr. Joe does have that information available, that'd be really good for him to answer that question also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Willie, for your response. And Mr. Joe?
Yes, it's all spelled out in the charter, what Shada Elmer Begay is asking about. Then it all gives all specific numbers and how it works. So, and we will send that to him, as we said earlier. We'll email it to you all.
Thank you. Thank you for the response. Back to Budget and Finance Committee. Any further questions, comments?
Chairman Henyo, this is Delegate Cruddy.
You have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I think in terms of this report, we've asked the questions that we could ask in a public setting. I do have some additional questions that we would need to understand in terms of the initial investment in 2018. And it looks like some of these contracts or projects are protected, legally protected. And so to ask those questions, Chair, I would need to know, do we need to go into an executive session if our legislative council can provide some guidance, as we wouldn't want to break that type of confidentiality. But I think at this point we need to understand the enterprise's goals and relationships so that we could see a revenue from this enterprise, or do we need to start discussing dissolving the enterprise and try to recapture as much of the funding as possible? I think those are critical questions that we would need to get a little bit more information on. So if I could get that clarification, Chair, I could motion to go to an executive session for those questions. Thank you.
Christina, thank you for your question. Ms. Tapahi?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I would strongly recommend executive session. There's sensitive, probably financial information, maybe proprietary information that should not be shared outside of the committee and this report. So I would recommend executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Pai. And so committee, Budget Finance Committee, if there's further information that the committee wishes to ask, we would need to go in executive session regarding the financial of the development corporation.
Chairman Henyo, if I could make the motion for executive session for 30 minutes.
Kushina, motion for executive session for 30 minutes. Is there a second?
Delegate Begay.
Delegate Almer PJ, second. We do have a motion and a second for executive session for 30 minutes. Peggy or Donovan, you will be able to set up the executive session line.
Chairman, I'm doing that right now, and I'll send it over to Peggy.
Yeah, Donovan will set that up.
Kushi, thank you. So we do have a motion and second for executive session, and we also roll call vote for executive session. Ramona?
Yes, Chairman Henyo, roll call vote on the executive session. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote? Honorable Raymond Smith Jr., how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Amber Kenneth-Barkrati, how do you vote?
Shada, this is Delegate Claudia, vote green. Thank you.
Thank you. Shadeja, Honorable Amber Kenneth-Barkrati votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote? Honorable Nathaniel Brown, how do you vote?
Delegate Brown votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Elmer P. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Elmer P. Begay votes green. Chairman, we have 4 members voting in the affirmative, 0 opposing. Chairman not voting, 1 member excused. Chairman?
4 in favor, 0 opposed. Chair not voting. We are in executive session. It is 11:20, so we'll go into executive session. It'll take a couple minutes to dial in, and then we should be out by, let's do 12:05. Go into executive session at 11:35 and come out at 12:05. We are in executive session now.
Thank you. Mhm. I don't know. We should just eat this too. Yeah, we can eat this together. Just have a hamburger then?